Hello and welcome to the program. I am Suren. What a strange world. There are people of goodwill. There are people of evil intent. There are those hated for being true. There are those ever ready to accuse you. There are liars who want to appear right. There are innocent victims of any fight. There are some who live in the dark. And there are those who only love the light. Here is a statement of truth. Religion is not necessary to experience and express kindness, gratefulness, and love. As it is known, many religions certainly promote these qualities, and the fundamental aspects of human nature can be cultivated through various other paths as well, including personal values, philosophical beliefs, and acts of service. What are the universal human values would you consider? Kindness, gratefulness, and love are widely recognized as positive human values, and they transcend religious boundaries. Many non-religious individuals and groups actively practice these qualities in their daily lives also. This takes us to the subject of personal growth factors. Indeed, individuals can develop these qualities through self-reflection, mindfulness practices, or even through an act of service to others. It does not need to be through a religious belief. Some people find meaning and purpose in volunteering, acts of kindness, or cultivating gratitude through other practices. Consider also the diverse pathways people follow. Buddhism, for instance, emphasizes kindness and compassion as the core principles, while secular humanism focuses on ethical behavior and human well-being without any religious affiliation. In a sense, humanity shares The connection we feel when offering or receiving kindness, gratitude or love, and it is all a shared human experience that can be fostered through empathy and compassion, regardless of any religious belief. Although I do not consider myself religious, there are perspectives we may also need to consider. According to Psychology Today, many religions incorporate these qualities we listed into their teachings. But the emphasis on personal responsibility and individual choice in cultivating them remains still extremely crucial. Since it has been oft asked about what gratitude really is and why it is so important in life, let us talk a little about this issue. Gratitude is an emotion similar to appreciation. It is specifically defined that this phenomenon creates a sense of happiness. In regard to this, I will most definitely consider it as a tangible gift. One can experience gratitude for someone or something at a certain moment in time, and someone experiences gratitude in more long term as a positive character trait. According to a Dr. Robert Emmons, the feeling of gratitude evolves in two stages. First comes the acknowledgement of goodness in one's life. In that state of gratitude, we always tend to say yes to life. We also affirm that, all in all, life is good and has certain elements that make life worth living. The acknowledgement that we have received something gratifies us, both by its presence and by the effort the giver put into choosing it. Secondly, the gratitude means recognizing that sources of this goodness lie outside the self. One can be grateful for the Creator in a religious sense, or other people, animals, and the whole world, but not to one's own self. And at this stage, we recognize the goodness in our lives and thank for it. Wisely considered. Take it or leave it. The two stages of gratitude comprise the recognition of the goodness in our lives and then how goodness had affected us. Through this process, as it is written, we recognize the fortune of everything that improves our lives within ourselves. Furthermore, gratitude can be considered either a dispositional trait or even a state of being. As a trait, any individual who practices gratitude as a part of their daily life, this can be considered a great strength of character. So then, it therefore is very important to remember that gratitude is a strength that can be enhanced with awareness and practice. When a person experiences such an emotion from someone expressing gratitude for them, it can be referred to as a state. Gratitude and positive psychology. What is the connection? As we already know, positive psychology focuses on positive thoughts and behaviors. Its actual makeup includes optimism, hope, and, as you can guess, gratitude. A part of Seligman's PERMA model, which includes positive emotions, positive engagement, positive relationships, positive meaning and achievement, and a key to having positive emotions, which includes gratitude. Robert Emmons considers positive psychology as the expansion of research on the benefits of gratitude. In fact, Emmons has authored several papers on the psychology of gratitude, showing that being more grateful can lead to the increased levels of well-being. Some of this research has also specifically dealt with gratitude in a religious setting, highlighting how gratitude towards a higher power may lead to increased physical health. There will be, of course, more topics on gratitude and also religion later. Here is a question: why it is so important to be grateful? Pass and Oates, 2016, assert that human expectations have changed and gratitude has diminished, particularly in the Western society. Good positions and health concerns are now the only expectations for many individuals, rather than being considered personal blessings that are being appreciated. Alas, it seems for many people that gratitude has been replaced by disappointment, anger, and resentment, when these need be expected to be seen as blessings, however, never appear to disappear. We have learned that gratitude helps people focus on the positive aspects of their lives. Gratitude can indeed help build and maintain relationships with others, resulting in hope, life satisfaction, and more proactive behaviors towards others. If still not convinced, you may wish to pick up one of the books available to study. They are everywhere available. Let's now look at the importance of gratitude in life in general. Remember, gratitude is strongly related to well-being. The truth is that the positive effects of experiencing and expressing gratitude are endless. Gratitude has been found to be beneficially associated with social well-being, emotional well-being, and psychological well-being. It is therefore no surprise that the trait of gratitude is an important predictor of well-being and other desirable life outcomes. Good point to consider here is that gratitude appears to have a domino effect. If a person experiences gratitude, they are more likely to recognize the help and then later reciprocate that help. People are being thanked, presumably, more when extending help to others, and this may become a feature of human traits in the future. Likewise, people who are not thanked may not be expected to provide reciprocation in the future. Frankly, the expression of gratitude is utterly beneficial for both individuals and the society at large. Furthermore, gratitude is an element to consider in many religions. Buddhism. Gratitude is indicative of the concept of dependent origination, which implies that everything is interconnected. For Buddhists, within the awareness of our independent and interconnected existence, the gratitude is like the web of life that sustains us. Judaism. Individuals practicing Judaism may start the day with Modeh Ani, a short Hebrew blessing, thanking God for life. Christianity. Christians denote gratitude to God by stating their blessings. These blessings are said in a prayer form that are created for food, family, life, and any other blessings that God may grant. Gratitude has a positive affiliation with positive effect. Life satisfaction, extraversion, forgiveness, and a negative affiliation with substance abuse and neuroticism, as well as an inverse relationship between gratitude and anxiety, depression. Gratitude is the act of recognizing and acknowledging the good things that happen, resulting in a state of appreciation. Often, when we consider what we are grateful for, over and profound life experiences, circumstances, and events come to mind. We may feel grateful for our upbringing and family, our jobs, good health, and the opportunity to gain an education. While recognizing and being grateful for these experiences, it really is important that our gratitude practice must also venture below the surface. And below the surface, we find all the simple, everyday pleasures that often go unnoticed. This may be of a great value that we had time to listen, like the times we had laughed with friends, or maybe even the joy of eating some, say, chocolate ice cream, and the sunshine we enjoyed, perhaps in the garden. Whatever these simple pleasures may be, consciously expressing our gratitude for anything can really help us grow our gratitude practice beyond the surface level. The importance of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is more broadly explained as a day to give thanks. How to show gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude can be demonstrated in many ways. It can be shown with merely a simple verbal thank you, or it can be indicated by a more elaborate practice, such as the strategies detailed. To improve your gratitude, reflect on how better you can show your appreciation to others. Then, when verbally expressing gratitude to someone, consider reflecting on your emotions and on the effort involved. For example, your birthday gift to me makes me overjoyed. I really appreciate the length you went into in order to find this limited edition book from my favorite author. I really value that you know me so well and did this, especially for me. Mom, I'm grateful for the life you have given me. even though it took 15 hours to deliver me and raising me was full of challenges. You have done the best you could, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Our Father in heaven, you have blessed me with 10 fingers and 10 toes, eyes to see and ears to hear. I am grateful for the wonder of your creation and for sparing my life every day. A gratitude journal involves jotting down a few things that you are thankful for and can be done daily or weekly as you choose. Keeping a gratitude journal is a good first step towards establishing gratitude, and it will help you identify and reflect on people, on things, or on events for which you are thankful. Meditation? As we all know and appreciate, meditation is a method for focusing attention on a systematic review of studies assessing the impact of meditation, and psychological processes have been conducted. They found that meditation does, in fact, decrease the stress. Experiences resulting from psychological stressors by influencing psychological processes. Although meditation doesn't directly demonstrate gratitude towards others, meditation and focusing attention on people or things you are grateful for indicate appreciation to yourself, which could help to foster even more gratitude. No matter how small or grand gesture of gratitude is, it is essential to show thankfulness in our everyday lives. After all, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. As William Arthur Ward said, the power of gratitude. Being grateful will make you healthier and happier. Well, you may have already gotten this message. It is explained that the research conducted with adults and children has completed a type of gratitude journal. Gratitude in regard to mental health is discussed in greater detail therein. If looking for more science-based ways to help others and how gratitude benefits people, this certainly does not mean to only appreciate your own self and promote your wonderful gratitude wherein you and you alone, but express that gratitude. Gratitude is to be expressed for all others, not yourself, as it sounds out of place. Take home this message. Someone could have everything and still feel like they have nothing. Someone could have nothing but still be happy with what they have. Recognizing gratitude towards other non-tangible issues, such as health and relationships, is an extremely good start. We have learned that gratitude has endless benefits for both individuals and society that has deep roots in positive psychology. It can also be identified in many religions, as well as in the secular world, even in Islam. It is crucial to understand that gratitude can be defined as both a state and a trait. Perhaps with the recommended exercises, we can discover that one may become able to move from a grateful state to a healthy trait. There are various ways to demonstrate gratitude just without only praising one's own self, because it is not right. Regardless of the method you choose, it is critical to convey thankfulness. Additionally, you don't need to wait for a holiday to show appreciation, for instance. Gratitude is the key to a happy life and should be a continued practice daily. And the other important takeaway is that gratitude can have a snowball effect. You never know the positive effects your gratefulness will have on others and the future impact it will have. Gratitude is a perspective and it is a choice. We hope that you choose gratitude today and every day. We would like to leave you with this quote, as John Ortberg writes, "Gratitude is the ability to experience life as a gift." Now, let's talk about faith and religion. Religion and compassion are deeply interconnected, wherein compassion serves as a fundamental value and practice in many religious traditions. At its core, religion seeks to provide a framework for understanding the world, our place in it, and how we should treat one another. Compassion, which involves empathy, kindness, and a desire to alleviate suffering, is often seen as a central component of this framework, not jealousies and competitions. Religion could have the power to inspire compassion in individuals and communities by providing a moral and spiritual framework that emphasizes the importance of empathy, kindness, and concern for others. Many religious traditions teach the compassion as a fundamental human value and a way of reflecting the divine love and mercy of a higher power. By promoting compassion as a central tenet of faith, religion can motivate individuals to put their beliefs into practice through acts of kindness, service, and generosity. Religious texts and teachings often provide a world of guidance and inspiration for practicing compassion in daily life. The Golden Rule, which encourages individuals to treat others as they would wish to be treated, is a common ethical principle found in many religious traditions, including Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Other teachings, such as the Jewish concept of tikkun olam, repairing the world, or the Islamic principles of zakat, charitable giving, and rahmah, mercy, emphasize the importance of compassion and social responsibility. The Buddha is revered as a model of compassion, and the teachings stressing the importance of cultivating compassion for all sentient beings as a means of achieving enlightenment and liberation from suffering. Religious texts provide a framework for practicing compassion by affirming the inherent dignity and worth of all human beings, and by calling the individuals to respond to the suffering of others with empathy, kindness, and action. Religious practices and rituals can also serve to cultivate compassion. Prayer and meditation, for example, can help individuals develop greater empathy and compassion by providing opportunities for self-reflection, gratitude, and connection with the divine. Through these practices, individuals can increase their capacity for empathy and can seek guidance and strength in their efforts to show compassion to others. Exercising kindness and service, such as volunteering at a local shelter, donating to charity, or helping a neighbor in need, are concrete ways to show compassion and put faith into action. Many religious traditions actively encourage followers to engage in acts of charity and volunteerism as a way of putting their compassion into action. For example, the Jewish tradition of tzedakah, charitable giving, and Islamic practice of zakat, almsgiving. In a little page from Buddhist teaching, we read, "We don't need religion to have morals. If you cannot determine right from wrong, you are lacking empathy, not religion." It is said, satisfaction with life and character strengthens of non-religious and religious people. It is the practice or practicing one's religion that makes the difference. Research, in a sense, to previous findings, by comparing satisfaction with life collectively, strengthens non-religious people and religious people both, practicing their religion, and people that have a religious affiliation but do not practice their religion. It has been to assist that life satisfaction, character strengths, and orientation to happiness in a sample of participants. People with a religious affiliation that also practice their religion were found to be more satisfied with their life. There were no substantial differences between people with no religious affiliation and those with a religious affiliation that do not practice their religion altogether. The present finding suggested that people profit from a religious affiliation if they also actively practice their religions. Dalai Lama often says, "My religion is kindness." Love and its expressions and compassion, generosity, and enjoyment are innate to us. We can either stay in our habitual conditioning and have these qualities, or only partially expressing them, or as we wake up, we can become more intentional about having them flourish. One of the promises of Buddhism and most other spiritual traditions is that we have the capacity to awaken our hearts. There are ways to train our attention so that we actually feel tenderness and responsiveness in a visceral way. Our physiology has the ingredients that allow us to wake up. The frontal cortex has the structures to feel empathy, compassion, and bonding. We have the mirror neurons that help us have that feeling of, I understand where you come from or where you are. We have the chemical oxytocin that enables us to feel our connection with others. So what blocks us from cultivating these capacities? We spend more moments of our day in a trance that arises from the perception of separateness and the feeling that something is wrong. This experience gives rise to the emotions of fear, shame, and anger. When in a trance of separation, the limbic system and more primitive parts of our brains are overriding parts of our brain that need to be activated to feel love. Survivalist emotions are there for a good reason. We need to scan our environment and respond when there is danger. We are predisposed to remember painful things, the wounding that happened, and not to remember the pleasant moments from our past. We are like Velcro for the negative experiences and Teflon for the good. Yet we can lock in to an ongoing sense of something is wrong and chronic emotional reactivity. Often, when we grow up in difficult family or social circumstances, we develop a nervous system that has a hard time with intimacy because we are fixated and detecting what might go wrong and protecting ourselves. We spend many moments in judgment and reactivity, defending ourselves or being aggressive in order to control but which feels to be a threatening world. We begin to awaken from trance when we notice the patterns of thoughts and emotions that keep us feeling separate, unsafe, and deficient. You might take a few moments to reflect on several encounters you have had recently. As you scan each, if you wanted to appear a certain way to prove anything, sense if you wanted to receive something such as approval from that person. How did you want that person to experience you? Were you trying to avoid being judged for something? Was there an underlying belief that you were inadequate or that the other was threatening to you? Were you trying to get that person to be different in some ways? What was the quality of intimacy in your interaction? Perhaps you find that you are fully present rather than wanting anything from the person, rather than wanting to protect yourself or for that person to be different. You were just attentive and available, appreciating the moment and that person. What was the quality of intimacy in your interactions? When we are together, and paying attention is the most basic and profound expression of love. In a moment when you are offering attention, in a state of real listening, real presence, in that moment the heart naturally opens. This is the most basic training in awakening our hearts. Mindful attention, just by being there. It often starts with being aware of our own experience, and that extends to the capacity to offer our attention to others. When we arrive in the space of presence, we come home to the intrinsic caring that expresses our deepest nature, like it is said, "My religion is kindness." Our thanks go to Tara Branch, PhD, who is a Buddhist teacher and also clinical psychologist, who said those last words we mentioned. Anyway, this is where we will end this episode of today. Until we meet you again by our next episode, keep smiling and be happy. Thank you.